Hey guys, my name is Nicole and welcome to NicoleTopics, and today's topic is tips for dancers that are starting dance late. Now, if you've been with this channel for a while, you guys probably already noticed that I made this video already a few months ago. And it's one of the videos I'm really proud of making. And for my channel, the video did pretty decent. But since the new Kappa thing came out, and during that video I drew cartoon pictures while I was talking about it, I didn't want to chance it, even though the video was made for like teens through adults. I still didn't want to chance it because I don't want the FTC to charge me $42K. So yeah, today this video is going to be pretty chill, it's going to be pretty relaxed. And when I remake this video, it's going to be marked for the appropriate audience. Plus, since I've made that video, I now have a little bit more things to add. So remaking this might not actually be a bad idea, because the more information, the more beneficial. Plus, despite how proud I am of that video, I have to be honest, when I rewatch it, I just didn't like how I recorded my voice. My voice just sounds cringily weird. But yeah, let's just get started with the actual video now. So I think a lot of us can agree that when you're starting dance late, the process can be pretty confusing. And when I say starting dance late, I do not mean you're 20 years old and you're gonna start in an adult class. No, I am talking about people starting late in my age, or maybe 15 or 14 years old. But before I share you guys some tips about like the process and stuff, you know, for the past few years I've been pretty part of this dance community. Like, I'll look at dance videos on YouTube and look at some like threads or comments time to time. And the question I see repeat a lot is it too late to start dance? And if the website allows it, the description might say like, I'm 15 years old, I want to start dance, but I feel like it's too late, so what do you guys think? And you know what, sis? Let me tell you, let's have a talk for a moment. This channel just became a lecture channel now. To be honest, it's never late to start something new. It's not a bad idea at all for wanting to start something that you might eventually really love. Even if you start this and eventually might actually not love it so much, at least you can say to yourself that you tried it and won't have any what ifs in your mind later on when you think about this. Speaking of what ifs, don't let the what ifs stop you. If you really want to start dance, then go for it. And I know some of you guys might be thinking like, Nicole, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand how I'm feeling, but let me tell you, I do understand, because I started dance late as well. And when I say late, I mean like pretty high up there. Like, I am 16 years old, you know, new and fresh into 16. And you know, at my age, ballerinas are already like beginning to take their dancing to the next level and get jobs and stuff like that. They've probably been to lots of auditions already. And here I am, who started dance at 15 and a half. And when I say started dance, I really mean started dance. Like, I started everything from scratch. I've never had a dance class in my life besides the ones I've taken when I was 5 years old. So I understand why a lot of people who are around my age thinking about starting dance might think that it's already late. But you know what, if you start dance late now, it may be true, maybe you'll never get a job. But just because you started late doesn't mean you can never become good at it. A year ago, I couldn't do a rond de jambe or a dégagé, but now I can. And I always never thought I would be able to do that kind of thing. You know, maybe that kind of reasoning is not exactly what's stopping you from enrolling into that dance class. Maybe it could be the insecurity of like, I'm not flexible, or I'm gonna be the tallest kid / the oldest kid in the class. And I'm gonna be straight with you guys. Coming from a person who is the tallest and the oldest kid in the class, it's pretty awkward. But like, just because you're gonna be like the biggest kid in the class don't let that stop you as well. Because you're taking the class for yourself. You're not taking the class for Billy Bob and Billy Joe who are next to you in the bar. You're taking it for you, and you're taking it to have fun. Because that's what really should matter at the end of the day. As long as everyone, including yourself, is having fun, no harm, no foul. Not to mention, let's not forget that everyone else in your class is learning the same thing that you're learning. While you're learning how to do a good tendu in class, the people around you are also learning how to do a perfect tendu. With enough hard work and practice, it is possible to become as good as your peers, or go to the same level as your peers, or even just become good enough in your standards. Yeah, moral of the story here is, if you really want to try something, then go for it. And now let's share some tips, shall we? As I said, starting dance late can be a pretty interesting process just for finding a class alone. For finding a beginner class that offers your age, Google is your best friend in this case. If you search like teen dance classes near me, Google can really help you with that. And yeah, Google will just begin popping up some local studios near you. I know some studios out there offer classes literally just for teens. Personally, I wanted to start ballet, so a thing I searched on Google a lot was beginner ballet classes near me. Then I started to look at all the studios that listed and began to narrow down. When you look in each website, I really suggest that you dig deep down. I'll tell you guys why later, but when I say dig deep down, I mean like take a look at the class prices, take a look at their address. If the website has it, take a look at the class age range, which is a really important factor for you guys to look at if you're starting as a teenager. If this specific studio has social media, then I really recommend that you follow it, because high chances are the studio will be updating about information about their registration and can give you a good opportunity to get a little bit of a feel of what it's like to take a class in that studio. Don't be afraid to ask questions. This tip actually connects a little bit with the social media tip, because they both kind of connect with each other. Nowadays, emails are not really as used, or at least in my opinion anyways. But if you have a question about something, sometimes DMing the studio rather than emailing might be better, because they might DM you back faster compared to emailing. In some cases, DMing your studio might actually be better, because since you DM them, it's obvious that you look through their page, and the people on the other side of the screen might be like, oh, this person must be interested. The fact that they saw our page must mean that they're seriously considered for getting a class with us. You know, something like that. But please don't take this the wrong way though, as like you should always DM all the time. I still suggest you email, especially if you already take a class in the studio already, or if that page isn't really as active. But yeah, I remember when I was looking for a summer ballet class, I narrowed down to 3 places, and I was following their social medias. I was following one group on Facebook and 2 Instagram pages, and every day I would strictly look to see if they update about their registrations for the summer classes. As you're looking for a class as well, there is a few things you have to consider. Like, just because you found a studio that offers a class for beginners and for your age doesn't mean it could be the best fit for you. As I mentioned earlier, as you're looking at this website, take a look at the class prices. How much are they? Are they too expensive? And for the address, GPS how far of a car ride that would be. I remember I found this pretty cool and perfect summer ballet class, but as soon as I searched up the address, the studio was an hour away. Speaking of driving, if you're 16 and below, you also want to consider the fact like, how do I get there? Because if you can't drive, that means someone else has to drive you. Which brings me to my next point, is to make sure your parents know about this, because they're most likely gonna pay for that class and drive you most likely. You don't want to like find a class and just bring all this news to them unexpectedly. Another important thing to think about is like, what about the time the class starts? You might find a class that is for beginners and just seems to have everything you wanted, but then you look at the time and it makes you feel a little bit iffy. I feel like this is very important for teens out there who are doing extracurricular activities besides dance. Because personally for me, I do figure skating and violin. So as I was finding a ballet class, I also had to make sure that this does not interfere with those activities along with school. Good thing to think about as you're enrolling is like, will I still be able to do my schoolwork? Time management is a key thing to have, or at least try to develop to have as you do an extracurricular activity. My last tip is to make sure you have a plan B style. For example, I wanted to start ballet, but worst come to scenario, if I couldn't find any beginner ballet classes that offered for my age, the next thing I would plan to look for is a jazz beginner class. These kinds of scenarios can happen. But let's say you looked really hard and you just couldn't find a dance studio at all that offers a beginner class for your age. This was my situation as I was looking for a summer ballet class. Well, not just studios offer dance classes. Gyms have dance classes. Recreational centers have dance classes. Maybe your school offers dance as a class for the whole year. Schools that usually offer dance as an elective are usually high schools and some middle schools. But yeah, just because dance studios are out of the table doesn't mean all hope is gone. So yeah, if that happens, search up on Google for local gyms or local recreational centers. For my whole summer ballet class, I took classes in a recreational center, and it's actually not that bad. Sure, it lacks some things an actual dance studio has, like a bar and spring floors, but the dance education wasn't bad, and you can still get a good experience out of it. What I'm about to suggest here is really mostly happens for dance classes in the summer, but some colleges offer like these summer programs for youth, if that makes any sense. I know while I was looking for a summer dance class, I've had a college near me in mind to dance at. But yeah, colleges are a really good thing to consider as well, especially if you are below 16 and need an Uber. I highly recommend that you guys have a talk with your parents about this decision. That way things can be figured out, and so you can know that they will be okay with it, and talk about other things like money and stuff like that, because dance isn't cheap. But yeah, that's all my tips and insight for starting dance late. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio!